What's up guys? Welcome to AnimeKouhai. If you'd like to help me out, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.
How could you possibly have some free time? Right now, I'm kind of in excruciating pain.
What exactly are you doing?
While Velgrynd was confined in complex space, I was doing an analyze and assess process on her abilities, and analyzing her cardinal acceleration.
No, it was rhetorical. Wait, did you discover it?
I was unable to duplicate the power, but a very comparable technique may be developed.
Ciel, you're nuts. Perhaps I should just assume that it is constantly scanning my surface consciousness. I should probably be more conscious of my mental limitations. I'll need to consider things more thoroughly than before. Still, it would be very fantastic to be able to mimic Velgrynd's most potent move, as Ciel exhaled. Despite the notion that you can't imitate ultimate skills by simply seeing them. Wait a second. What other things did it analyze? Despite my hesitation, I made the decision to ask it directly.
The question is, what else have you been analyzing?
Ciel eagerly answered the inquiry as if it had been anticipating it. Right.
I've also completed my analysis on Stormblast. This ability has been made accessible by utilizing the leftovers from the skill Veldora, Lord of the Storm.
Wait, this is a major news.
I hardly even notice the ache any longer. Making such an analysis sounds exceedingly challenging. At first, I wasn't sure I could believe it. It appeared as though this was merely a side project.
No, it's accurate, and even it is not the most crucial aspect. Now for the important part.
That response just naturally came to mind in my surface consciousness. Still, whatever. There is no use in hiding anything from it. But it held up well enough. The ultimate skill Veldora, Lord of the Storm, was still within me. By taking advantage of that, I could understand how I could adequately recreate Stormblast. It would be good if I could acquire that skill for myself because it is pretty damn powerful. In spite of my initial astonishment, I was glad that it had happened because, by Ciel's standards, doing that kind of work wasn't very unusual. I was more interested in learning what Ciel considered to be the main thing at this stage.
So, what is that?
I finished analyzing the storm dragon you were predating. You will be able to change your physical composition to resemble that of a true dragon as a result. Do you want to execute this?
Pardon? Isn't that a pretty casual way to state something very unsettling? Changing the makeup of my body to resemble Veldora's? You're telling me to carry this out like it's a quick task. How dare you? I'm a little lost right now.
If I have this right, would this imply that I would turn into a true dragon?
Yes, that is the correct perspective.
What? Is that the right approach? Like, are you for real?
Yes, of course. Would you desire to become a true dragon, then? Yes, no.
I unconsciously performed a three-part succession of nasty laughing, still giving me a yes or no choice, huh? I made the careless observation as I issued the command, yes. I felt pain, but it was gone in an instant. No suffering, scorching, or pain. I now acquired my own draconic aura, thus the aura of the storm dragon was no longer able to pierce me. I now kept more energy for myself when it was consumed. My magicule count continued to rise. I was worried that it would grow to a dangerous size before exploding on me.
Not an issue. I'll handle your energy perfectly.
You will, I'm sure of it. There was no reason to fret when Ciel was around. My true dragon self now possessed the same number of magicules as Veldora. Then I exceeded the limit. With that, a new true dragon was created, and I quickly knew that I needed to deal with the storm dragon right away because any more delay would be disastrous.
Rimuru, you've triumphed. It surprises me to see you turn into a true dragon, but it turns out my eyes weren't playing tricks on me after all.
In contrast, Veldora didn't appear overly astonished as he expressed happiness for me. He was acting as if he had raised me from birth or something, although it is obvious that he had little to do with it. Furthermore, it was yet too early to declare triumph. The solution to everything lay in Veldora's core, but I was still unsure of its whereabouts. It's time to finish things up properly.
All right, let's finish this up.
This puppet has no right to call itself the Storm Dragon. How could they?
Beelzebub, consume it all.
Beelzebub devoured the Storm Dragon's body on my command, and he did so with great quickness and, I might add, joy. This fight was exceedingly one-sided. The one who eats and the one who is eaten. A good example of survival of the fittest. The great battle came to a quiet end. We saw an evolution take place, a new life emerge, and a daring stride into the future. The energy that escaped from me was still present, and it illuminated the surroundings with a dazzling brilliance that was a blessing and a celebration of the arrival of a new truth. This was the light that my previous body, the one that had not evolved into a true dragon, emitted as it was changed into pure energy. Even this light would be eaten by me when my former body vanished from existence. I had just accomplished my goal in an absolutely flawless fashion. There was just one life form remaining when the light went out, and it was an unidentified one. Veldora had vanished. Velgrynd recognized that the slime, the demon lord Rimuru, had since eaten it. They understood that a pool of magicules had leaked out of the sealed Veldora, giving rise to Rimuru, who was born from that pool. However, that slime had now eaten the storm dragon, which served as sort of its father, and had evolved into the 5th true dragon in the world. After a short while, this slime, the ultimate slime, transformed into a human with a blade in one hand and no clothing on. He may have been about 5 feet 3 inches tall, making him between the ages of 15 and 16. However, the number of magicules in him was not only greater than Veldora's, but also considerably superior. Beautiful almond-shaped golden eyes appeared to be able to see through anything, and his silver hair with a blue undertone shined white like the moon. Although he was androgynous and had a face that was more heartwarmingly sweet than dazzling, his celestial presence allowed him to surpass even the ideal of beauty. That light skin was now surrounded by a dark, gold, and black aura. His body was covered in demonic energy, but when he uttered a frustrated sigh, that energy changed into a divine full-body costume that was jet black in hue. It was hard to tell how durable this would be as armor because it was made using the demon race's create material skill, which solely employed the magicules that were pouring out of his body. Rimuru stopped the flow of surplus energy like a switch. After that, he grinned contentedly from the corner of his mouth. From her cell, Velgrynd observed, interfering with the transfer of her energy. She was in a state of disbelief as it all happened in front of her. The storm dragon should have won the conflict between Veldora, her own brother, and the demon lord Rimuru. The slime could not, under any circumstances, surpass him. Otherwise, it merely implied that they had been equals from the start.
Then, is it a coincidence? No. Are you claiming that he was simply born here, right now?
Velgrynd, who was drowning in a sea of thoughts, came to an amazing conclusion. She wouldn't, however, readily admit it. How could she? The likelihood of a creature being born next to a true dragon and having the proper soul to receive draconic energy was simply too remote to consider. Rimuru would be Velgrynd's younger brother if he were the 5th true dragon to be born, but that wouldn't have happened if he hadn't eaten off Veldora, and Velgrynd couldn't bear to refer to that as a true dragon. She wouldn't acknowledge that anything so dreadful could exist, even though he was at best similar to one. Her instincts prompted her to crush it instantly. Only then could she exact revenge for her brother's death. Veldora was like her sweet little brother, naughty, boisterous, and a real handful, but she was still so unrestrainedly free. She was envious of him. Yes, she intended to use him as a pawn, but considering how short their lives are, it would only be for a brief moment. She didn't want to eliminate him. After she was through with him, she would restore his freedom. And now Velgrynd's fury swept all sense of reason away as soon as she understood Veldora was being consumed right before her eyes.
My adorable little brother. How dare you?
She roared furiously. The insulated imprisonment was broken by that roar well after 200 seconds. The flame dragon was furious and had no care for her own survival. She was about to attack Rimuru with all of her resentment. Well, it appears that I have resurrected as a different species after devouring Veldora. It turned me into an ultimate slime, but it just made me a quasi-member of the true dragons. Although I'm not sure I still had anything slime-like about me, I'll keep that to myself. It's too late to stress about that now. I then examined my new body. My main one, the standard form in which I existed while not consuming magicules, had gotten a lot bigger. Or perhaps matured? Even so, I was now around the height of a female high school student. It didn't really signify anything because I could change how I looked to seem any age I chose. I just thought it'd be interesting to show myself growing in this way. The issue was whether I could still move freely and act in this body without discomfort. My own slime form had expanded as well, reaching a diameter of around 2.5 feet. I was now a little too huge to be carried around by an ordinary human, so hoped I could keep my previous, smaller form. I could iron out the problems later, though. I have a difficulty right now. I had nothing on right then. Completely bare. That was not going to work. My naughty bits were concealed by this strange aura that was emanating from me, but it was still quite bothersome. I thus tried making some clothing. I learned a little trick from Diablo and used create material to find that the procedure was really simple. Diablo claimed you could get some pretty wonderful outcomes with it, and I loved what I saw. However, it would depend on the creator's skill. Unfailingly comfortable, and I believe that I look beautiful in pure black. Regarding its armor level, it turned out to be God class, nevertheless. Wow, that's true. God class? God class, boy? Neat. What the heck? This must be how being flabbergasted actually feels. I believed I had changed a little, but I guess this just proved it. It's possible that my current power is even greater than I had thought. And I suppose I could have anticipated it. All of the strength that Benimaru and the group had developed into as awakened demon lords was coming back to me thanks to food chain. That was probably one of the causes, and you could also consider all the Veldora power I had just eaten. It was an excessive amount of energy to keep in my stomach as it was before, but I had fully examined it and made it my own. In other words, everything had combined to give me what I had right now. In essence, it's all Ciel's creation. I now think it's rude to refer to Ciel by its name alone. It's time to give it some well-deserved respect by addressing it as Dr. Ciel.
Don't call me that, please.
I thought I overheard someone speaking, but I didn't mind. The good doctor really is amazing, isn't it? And moving forward, I'll be hoping for tremendous things from it as well.
Let me handle it.
Great. I had to be careful not to lose sight of the work at hand now that I was dressed.
Are you okay, Veldora?
Stop making me say it repeatedly. But I'm rather impressed to see how easily you defeated my physique.
Yeah, I guess I was kind of in the zone, too much to consider what I did. But I'm so pleased that it was a success.
The fact that Veldora and I were safe made us both very happy. And since we were conversing in this way, I figured Veldora's core was also unharmed. The only thing left to do was reattach our soul corridor and rejuvenate the ultimate skill Veldora, Lord of the Storm.
Succeeded. There were no problems discovered.
Dr. Ciel delivers once more, always completing the task without requiring my supervision. Another outstanding piece of work. Okay, so that was one goal accomplished. I truly had no more business with the Imperial Army now that I had Veldora back. But guess what? I wanted to slam my fist into Emperor Rudra's face because my rage was just as strong as before. In addition, if I concluded the war on this indecisive note, it would undoubtedly result in more catastrophes.
Hey anime fans! Episode 16 of Solo Leveling is live. Sung Il-wan is back, and things are about to get intense. You don't want to miss this. Tune in now for all the jaw-dropping action.
That's it for this video, guys. Thank you for always watching my videos and supporting my channel. A big thanks to the AnimeKouhai patrons who made this video possible. Jared Bressler, Chad Vota, Chris Guzman, Havox, Speed Saber, James Waters, Arijit Das, Curtis Loban, Judah Herrera, Justa Guy, Misa LW Hernandez, Jason Martin, Zach Rossan, Byron, Jarius Ladek, Alfonso Smith, Donald Williams, Moab A, Day of Light, John M, John Charles, Godman Gaming, Akon Engok, Markithian Tidwell, Andre L. Hamilton, Adrian, Kumo, Sanketh Chelu, T. Bush, John L., Edgar Fuentes, JV, Dirty Old Hobo, Gonse Direco, Thomas, J., Christ, Juan Ignacio, Joshua Cousins, Jose Hernandez, Vethelny, Lunel Scarlett, Khaled, Christian Deshazer, Cal Robs, Divine C. Harris, Destiny Smith, Panda Cats, Aaron Alarcon, Monty Boy 98, D-Man, Ruben, Luis Caro, Yuki Iki, Pedro Robles, Chris Jr., Isaac, Koala King 93, Paul DeGrassi, Little 95, Coyote de Peza, Quilly Buckner, Zephyros, Alver, Normal Defate, Joshua Andrade, Jaya Keshav, L, Gary Miles, Nobody 0034, Dragon Spawn 666, J Rule, Sayonori, Alfredo Renteria, Liel Tiram, Liron Sangkap, Eric Tass, Christopher Mash, Ekotski, Foolish Prophets, Ethan Madison, Louis Strutter, Charles Bailey, Sky T, Diego Ginoza, Nick H, Andre Hamilton, Jason Torres, Sesh, Guy Ansley, Simon Road, Emperor WSA, Mika Espinosa, George Hage, Pratik Bandari, Arod Dare, Von Joseph, Dariha Skerte, Jackson Early, Smexy, Carl Stephen Bernadal, Tank Bailey, Gareth Hashimoto, Steven Madison, Homelike Drop, Fazli Topadar, Nasir, Vasto Lord, Martin Ramos, Marl Barsha, Ralph Ignacio, Karen, Mark Charlie Els, Hansel Ortega, Yellow Wally, Efrain Hernandez, Luca Gaming WTF, William Locke, Jordan Mersha, Jay Magsino, Recru17, Bismarck Munoz, Arion Booker, Kamal Luke, Izat, Mr. Santo, Akshay Divate, M. Wei Jun. Thank you so much for helping out. I'll see you guys in the next video.